I've come up with a way to totally eradicate this whole idea of rejection in sales. If it's over at hello, how the heck are you going to succeed in selling? You've got to rise above that and change your mindset.
Hello, my name is Ari Galper, and welcome to our monthly Stump The Guru show. If you're new to the show, just to let you know, what we do here is, first of all, we specialize in trust-based selling. I've been doing this for 25 years and have figured out a way to crack the code on how not to chase people, prospects, not to have to close them in the way you think it might be, and not have to play the numbers game anymore, but how to build trust with them very quickly. And we've been working with entrepreneurs, financial advisors, attorneys, consultants for years, and we figured out how to compress the sales cycle into one single conversation, which might sound impossible to you, but it's very possible if you know how to build trust with them. So if you know the show already, this goes to a podcast every month. You can catch the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify or Apple. And so the way the show works, if people jump on live, ask me a question that they find complex or need some answers for. I give them my perspective that we've used in the past that has been successful. People take ideas from the show, they use it right away, get a result. We get feedback. It's a great loop that we keep creating every single month here. So if you're new to the show, welcome. And if you've been on the show before, you're welcome back. If you have any questions and you want to jump in now and ask me a question live, get in the queue. Just go to www.stumptheguru.com, just like it sounds. Stumptheguru.com. That'll put you in the green room, and Steve will let you in if there's an open slot there. And if you want to have a private consultation off the show, just go to unlockthegame.com/free consult. I will also mention we are about to launch our new certification program. For those who are in the coaching business, who want to become a coach, who want to just master our approach. We built a 12-month curriculum out from all of our core work. And we're going to certify folks who want to get involved with us and allow them to go out and coach using my approach, using the Ari Galper certified coach, trust-based selling coach logo, and really have their own business around sales coaching. So if the idea of working from home sounds good to you, working on Zoom sounds good to you, and coaching people just like I'm doing here, using our methodology, I put all my content into a curriculum-based course to be taught by my current coaches to you to become certified. So if that sounds good to you, you want to get in the door before we open up the doors, go to unlockthegame.com, my website, and you'll see Become a Coach at the top there. And we have a waiting list that you can opt in for. And we're only going to allow, I think, a small group this time around, maybe 20 people to max. I expect at least 100 to come through application-wise. So if you want to get in quickly, go to unlockthegame.com/become a coach. And if you're interested in learning more about the program, we'll set up interviews probably next couple of weeks and see who we feel is qualified to represent me, my brand, to go to market and to coach other people. It could be inside your own firm. It could be to the outside market. It could just be for you to master what we do. So anyways, that's it for now. We're going to open up the show, and Steve, who's our producer back there, will pull in the first person who's got a question. And the theme today will be how to recover lost opportunities. And I'll share some of that throughout our dialogues today. Steve, who do we have on today?
All right, I jumped in early. First, we've got Noel. I'm going to bring Noel on. If you can let everybody know who you are, your business, and your question for Ari, please.
All right, I'm a financial advisor. I've been in the business for 40 years. I've as you can tell by my gray locks, I've gotten old doing this, and I'm in South Carolina in America. So I had to go and comb my hair a little while ago to make sure that I've never been on an international program before.
You're looking good, Noel.
Anyway, I'm ready to go ahead and get started. I want to ask you this question. I was talking to a person the other day, and this was before I got in your last minute video, which or a couple of them ago that you covered this, but I want to ask you again, because I don't believe you can go over this too much. Anyway, I was talking to potential client. We were descending the iceberg. Everything went very well, and we got to the bottom. I gave him my recommendation. He liked the recommendation, or he seemed to. And then we got to. I said, "Okay, where would you like to go from here?" And what he did was he said, "That's interesting. I'd like to think about it." And then I said, he just got up and left. And that means I don't want to think about it. That's what I want to think about it means. It was, I want to go home and not think about this. And so I don't know what I did leading up to that made it as, to where that was even a question in his mind. So I wanted to throw that over to you, Ari, and if you tell me what we should be doing.
So if we think about this for a second, it takes a split second for him to say, yes, no, let's move forward. But it takes him a long time to get to that split second. So the question is, how do we compress that cycle? And I think in this case, the only reason why he wants to think about it, which means is he's indecisive. He wasn't prepared to say yes because something early on in the iceberg process didn't give him the clarity on the urgency and the issue that he has in front of him. And if he doesn't solve the problem, what's the result of that? So I'm not sure how far he went down that path on the iceberg, but here's the key on that. Noel, on every meeting you have from now on, you have to help them get clarity on what happens if they don't solve their problem. What happens if they're not decisive? What's the end result? For instance, if they want to retire next 3 to 5 years, what's going to happen if they don't do a plan now? What will probably happen is the gap will widen, right? With taxes, inflation, there'll be more complexity. They'll be paying more money over time. Their fees will go up. You have to help them articulate what is the downside of not solving their problem. So I'm not sure to what extent you did that, but if you can get that piece of the puzzle added to the iceberg, then they realize, oh, okay, this will cost me X if I don't solve this problem. In the fee to solve it with you is minimal compared to the impact of the loss, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense because, and think about it. If you mention that, down the road, if you don't get to where you're going and you have to take that much more risk, then it's going to be harder to get where you're going, and you'll have to assume more risk than if you do it now. And
right. So the focus of that end of the meeting was on the solution. It wasn't on the impact and loss if you didn't solve the problem. So your whole focus has to be about, look, here's your situation. You can leave it as option one. Leave it as it is. Don't solve it now, which is fine. But here's the impact of that. Boom, 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 boom. Solve it now. You erase that problem and you have peace of mind and you're on your way. Which would you like to do?
Yeah, that's great.
As opposed to, here's a solution to your problem. I'll think about it. See, you got to give him both options. Otherwise, if there's only one option, he's not going to decide quickly.
That's right. And he's not losing anything by saying no.
Exactly. So add that piece to your puzzle, Noel. I think you'll do great.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. Take care.
You too.
All right. Welcome back to the Stump the Guru Show. We are live. We are global. We are on the internet. We have people coming in right now from all over the world who are here to stump me, ask me a tough sales question, and find out where their gaps are. And that's usually what these meetings are about, these calls, is find the gap in your thinking to help your potential client prospects see their gaps, to close their gaps so they can see you as the one to trust. And that's really the whole goal around trust-based selling. Of course, a lot of work around this, languaging, there's a framework, and you can learn more about that if you like back at our website, unlockthegame.com. So, Steve, who else is in the waiting room there?
All righty. Up next, I'm going to bring on Andy Rogers. If you could let us know a little bit more about you and your business and your question for Ari, please.
Sure. Hey, Ari. Good to see you again. I'm Andy Rogers. I'm a financial planner as well. And I was introduced to Noel, the last gentleman there, by Ari, and love the Noel commentary. Was able to work on the very front end of the sales process with you, Ari. This was taking a cold lead from the internet, exposing their problem to them within the first 5 seconds of the phone call. That worked really well. Ended up kind of backing into my old ways of doing things. I didn't get to charge that upfront fee on that first call.
Right.
Still haven't had an opportunity to make that happen, but did close the client, got the business, and am looking to repeat that process. So I guess in what Noel just stated, how can I build more trust and expose the problem before they even get on that first call? What are you doing? I know I received a box of goodies from you with books and newsletters and all sorts of fun stuff. What could I be doing better there to build more trust before I jump on that call, so that when I expose the problem,
Sure,
they're not saying what Noel's person said. I want to think about.
Right. So you're talking about pre-initial conversation, right?
Yeah, I've set the first meeting. I'm going into that call and trying to quote a planning fee, for example.
Okay. So let's assume you've got somebody who scheduled a call with you.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is pre-positioning yourself as a trusted authority in advance of them coming to you, and that's the key. So what we advocate and what we do ourselves, as you know, is we ship out to people what we call a trust box that goes to them when they schedule an appointment with us. And that trust box, as you know, contains a lot of materials in there, some of our books, some stories of success stories, a video book that you open up and watch a video of, some Nutter Butters, all kinds of goodies in that box. And it's amazing how many people say to us, Ari, I received your box. I haven't read anything about it. I haven't had time, but it's great. How can you help me? So that means that whatever they received already has preset in their mind that I'm the doctor, they're the patient. They're climbing up the hill to get help. We're not peers having a conversation about getting to know each other a little bit better. It's not about, hey, are you a fit? Are we a fit? It's more about positioning you above that, where they're coming to you with a problem. And so whatever you create in advance of that meeting has to be problem-centric, not solution-centric. So the stuff in our box doesn't talk about our company or what we do and how great we are and how many years we've been in business, which is what most corporate companies do. The key secret to this is to send the materials, by the way, not digital, in the mail. Here's why. The mail is almost 100% deliverability. Everyone gets it. We track it with a tracking number. We know they have it. They open it. They don't have to consume it. They just have to look at it and hold it in their hands. And that's all you'll need to reset and calibrate that meeting, so you're the authority and they're coming for help. And you'll see, they'll tell you on the call, they'll say, hey, I got your stuff. I'm ready yet, but it looks good. All right.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Good to see you again.
Thanks, Ari.
All right, take care. All right, we're back to the Stump the Guru show. We're covering all kinds of processes here, from during the conversation, before the conversation, positioning, to trust building, to amplifying what I call the gap, helping people see their own issue in a 360 perspective. Because when you talk to a potential prospect, they see their world 180 degrees. They see it in a very narrow view. They say, here's my problem. What they don't see is a 360 view of their issue, where you can unpack it, peel the onion back, and help them see all the gaps they can see. That's why a doctor has an x-ray machine, right? The patient says, my shoulder hurts. He's not taking it for granted. He's going to run the x-ray machine to see all the issues around the shoulder. The patient can't see it, but the doctor can. You have to replicate that metaphor. So when people come to you and say, my issue is X, don't assume that's the full picture. It's usually only 10%. You have to have a process and questioning and languaging to unpack the issue in a very empathetic way. Not fact-finding, which people do, but trust-building questions. Okay, we have some more time. Steve, who else do we have back there?
All righty, I'm going to bring up next Sam. And Sam is, as you know, been here before. So Sam, I'm going to say nothing and just let you introduce yourself and do your own jam.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Ari, for the opportunity. My question is quite specific. It's around possibly some languaging. I do in-home water consultations, and I don't know prior to the meeting being set up what people's intentions are, but I get allocated an appointment, I go see them. Sometimes I drive an hour or something like that. So my question is, sometimes when I walk in the door, some people, and I don't know if it's a smoke screen or if it's genuine, they say, I ask them, what prompted them, and they say, well, we're just starting to look around. We're not really quite sure. We saw this ad. So what languaging or what can I approach that sort of conversation to flush it? I mean, the obvious answer is if it's true, they're not a fit because they're not in that buying stage. But what can I actually say at that point to encourage a conversation when they say, yeah, look, we've only just started. I saw the ad and I thought it'd be interesting to have you over and check out our water.
I'd say, what triggered you? What concerns do you have around the idea of poor quality water in your house? What concerns do you have about that? Because something has triggered you to want to learn more about this. That's what I want to start with. That's okay with you.
Okay, well, that's a good start. They'd probably say, well, I just saw your ad and it got me thinking my water does smell a bit funny. And I thought, I'll just check it out.
When you say smell funny, what do you mean by that? Have you noticed anything changing when you wash your hair? Does it feel kind of thick in a way? Is it coloring a little bit more yellow? Are you noticing things because of that?
Yeah, no, just the smell.
Well, that doesn't sound good. When water smells like something, this is probably more serious than you probably think. I mean, I would not drink water to smell anything. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't even take a shower with it. See, Sam, let's add a role play for a second.
Yeah.
See, Sam, I'm doing a deep dive into the trigger that caused them to look for a solution. Just because they just got information, they're just curious, that's not part of your process. Ignore that. Help them articulate what their concern is. If you don't do that, then the spotlight's always on you to defend yourself, and they're in control of the process, and they don't feel comfortable trusting you enough to sharing with you really what's on their mind. Yeah. They might have an elderly person in the house for all you know. Maybe they're sensitive to things because of their health. Now, they would not reveal this to you. They don't know you yet.
Yeah.
But you have to spend time understanding that patiently first and help understand where they're coming from, especially with your product, which relates to health and worriness around that.
Yeah. No, that's spot on, Ari. And I think I put myself under a bit of pressure because, the company's expectation is we do this pitch irrespective because they've spent a lot of money for the lead. And part of me, if they don't want to go down the iceberg, then I'm actually happy to disengage, but I sort of can't. And that becomes a dilemma for me,
Well, you're being squeezed with the old school expectation of you pitching versus you diagnosing. Yeah. Now you can do both. You can diagnose the problem, get them, bring it to a certain level they want to talk about it, and then walk them through a process for how to solve it. You can marry this together. I think what might help how much lead time do you have by the time you got the appointment to the time you show up? How much time, days or weeks do you have?
24 hours. That's all I get. Like I get a day.
One day.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's all I get.
I guess that's pretty tight.
Yeah, pretty tight. So sometimes I send them a text message in advance. I say I'm coming. I want to make sure both people are there. That's the other thing. I go there. I tell them in advance both people are there. I rock up at the door. Oh, my partner had to go to work. I feel like going. But
I understand. I understand. If there's a little more time, I would love to have you create your own packet of information around water problems and have that courier to them the same day.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
With a bio sheet with you on there, Dr. Sam, whatever, and have that in their packet in their hand before you arrive.
Perfect, Ari. One last, how could I, if two people aren't there, which obviously for me, it's not going to happen. What wording can I just politely disengage and say, look, we really need to reschedule, another time. when both of you are going to be here without sounding too, listen,
Just
if you're
say,
both not here, you're not going to buy.
would you be open?
Mm.
Would you be open to us rescheduling when your husband or wife is here, and I can come back to you with more information, and we can spend more time together than I have today. I have a very short time today. I've got to run real soon, and I hate to cut things short.
Always gets down to the basics.
Look, if you're feeling pressure, then that's your issue, not them.
Yeah,
You've got to let go of the sale, let go of the end goal, and sure, your company's putting pressure on you, but put that to the side, because once you're with them, if they sense that from you, your tension that you have inside you, they can pick it up a mile away, and it's over. Right? They'll get it. They'll get caught up in the drama of your drama, and it just goes down the hill real quick. So just be cool as a cucumber when you arrive. Happy-go-lucky, no big deal. You're not here for the sale, which you're not. You're here to make there's a match between their problem and your solution. So don't assume anything when you arrive. Okay, Sam?
That's perfect, Ari. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Good to see you again. Come on back whenever you want. All right. We're back to the Stump the Guru Show. We are live right now. If you want to catch a chance to ask me a question, just go to www.stumptheguru.com. If you want a private consultation, go to unlockthegame.com/free consult. I did mention to you that we are launching our certification program coming up soon, where you can become an Ari Galper trust-based selling coach, start your own business, add this to your coaching business, or just learn it for yourself to master the art of not slipping out of the mindset and not start to sell by accident or overeducate people or do free consulting and lose the precious opportunities that you have coming your way. Because what the thing is, you want to get out of the numbers game. You want to be able to convert and onboard almost everyone you speak with based on trust. And if you have holes in your process right now where you're losing people, then the certification will be great for you to learn how to plug up those holes once and for all. So we still have some more time, about 5 minutes left. Steve, who else is back there?
All righty, I'm going to bring on Michael, who's been very patient getting this part of the show. So, hey, Michael, how are you? If you can let everybody know who you are and what your business is about and your question for Ari, please.
I am in the financial services business. Been doing this for about 39 years and have no questions. I didn't know that I had to prepare a question, so my apology. I've been through a lot of different coaching, strategic coach, etc., and something about you caught my attention, and I'm kind of like a growth junkie, always looking to learn and see what's working for other people. So for someone who's been through a lot of different coaching and a lot of different programs about trust-based selling and all sorts of things throughout my career, I'm curious as to how you might be able to help someone like myself.
Well, Michael, let me ask you a question. How many opportunities on average per month do you get in front of or do you speak with typically, or on a phone call? How on average per month, typically?
Probably it's very hard for me to track because I have two businesses. One is a wholesale business where I act as a back office for insurance agents and financial planners to place insurance business. And then I do some fee-based and traditional financial planning for retail clients. Probably 80%, 70% of my revenue comes in on the wholesale business, but a lot of that has morphed into the retail business as some of these people don't have the expertise on the insurance side, so I'm doing joint work with them.
Let's use retail for now, just as a case study. So how many people do you get in front of per month on the retail side? On average, you speak.
I would say 5 to 7.
Okay, let's just be 5. Say, call it 5. Be conservative.
Mm-hmm.
So you speak with 5 opportunities a month. Of those 5, how many would you typically onboard as a new paying client on average of the 5 each month?
I would say about half.
Okay, we'll say 2. Be conservative.
I don't really track any of it, but yeah,
that's okay. I'm trying to ballpark this to see where there might be an opportunity for you to improve what you're doing. So
Mhm.
5 a month, 2 onboarding, and I assume your average value per client, I would assume AUM and all that, maybe about 5, 10K a year if they onboard with you, I guess, based
A
upon
little
assets.
more.
Let's just say 10K, be
Okay.
conservative. Okay. So 10K per year over 10 years is worth you $100,000, right? If they stay with you for 10 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So one new sale to you is worth $100,000 in value if you can onboard another client each month, right? If you get one new client, an extra one.
Okay.
They're your numbers. So I'm just trying to take your situation. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if you got 5 a month and you're onboarding 2, what if you can close that gap and just help you convert 1 more or 2 more or 3 more of those a month, just based on your ability to be more effective at them trusting you on that first conversation where they say to themselves, let's do this. If we can close that one gap, that to me seems like a hole you've got in your situation right now.
Okay.
That's
Now,
the
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think that, there's always room for improvement. And that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't think that, for you making me aware of that, which is something, quite frankly, I was aware of. If I had a higher closing ratio, there's only 2 things we can do. We could either be a better salesman or we could see higher quality people. So I'm very much aware of what you're saying. But what are you going to do to bring? I'm very good at building rapport, building trust, showing my credibility.
Let me ask you a question real quick. We have 2 minutes left. When you have your first meeting with people and they show up in your office or Zoom, I'm not sure how you do it, but
Yep,
let's just say,
Zoom.
Okay, let's say they show up in Zoom. It's your first meeting with them, and they show up. How do you begin your meeting? What do you say?
Ari, what would make this a great meeting? So when we're done with today, you feel like, wow, this was spectacular. I'm so glad I met you. And then I just let them talk.
Wow, interesting. Okay, so that can go in a whole bunch of different directions depending on where they're at. And then you have to chase that direction and follow it somewhere where they want to take you. There's a whole different process.
Right, but it clearly makes them understand I'm here to serve them, not to serve my needs.
I totally get that. And that's good. You're right. But here's some refinement for you on the languaging to allow you to be the doctor and then be the patient, where it's not open-ended. And here's what you might say, what I call top of the iceberg to begin your meeting is a small sample. If it's okay with you, Julie, can you take a step back for a moment? Can you walk me a bit through your background, your story, situation, up to your current financial concerns? We'll go from there. Would that be okay with you? Asking permission first, the way I'm saying this, shows your empathy, shows you care, and keeps this conversation mapped around their issues, as opposed to a future goal they're trying to get to. And that's a lot of advisors instinctively take what they're given, and off they go to a next step. What I'm suggesting, there's a way to x-ray this situation with them, where you unpack their situation, where they feel that you're doing a deep dive in the role right at hello, and they say to you, Michael, how can you help me? It's very efficient. It's called the one-call sale. I've got to run now. We've got to end this show. Once you come back, reach out to me. I'll walk you through it. Just through our website.
Great.
Go to my free consult page, fill out the form. I'll get you on the calendar. We'll talk more, okay?
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
Good. All right. Nice to meet you. Okay, everybody. We're at the end of our show. Wow. Very interesting. If you're watching in, you're listening in, you're hearing me live, doing live coaching, helping me with someone who's new, knowing about me at all, and wondering what I can do and what we do here and how we're different. And if you're that kind of person who's looking for something new or out there thinking you're missing something, then it wouldn't hurt to reach out for an initial conversation to see if there's a hole somewhere in your own process that you know is there, but you can't fix on your own. And just having a second opinion on your own sales process, as you can see from today, could be life-changing for you. And it's easy to get in a comfort zone and accept what you've got coming in. But if you're happy to do a diagnosis and x-ray on your situation, then reach out. Just go to unlockthegame.com, click on free consult, and we'll talk or with one of my coaches. Or if you want to become a coach with us, Again, go to unlockthegame.com, become a coach, fill out the form. Then we'll get you in the queue to be one of hopefully the first 20 coming in soon. On that note, we'll say goodbye. Guys, thanks for showing up today, and we'll see everyone soon. Take care. Signing off.
I've come up with a way to totally eradicate this whole idea of rejection in sales. If it's over at hello, how the heck are you going to succeed in selling? You've got to rise above that and change your mindset.